2, 1.
Hello, I'm Russell Duperay. Welcome to the February 28th, 2017 meeting of the Long Meadow School Committee. This meeting is called to order. This meeting is being recorded and aired live by LCTV. It is also being live streamed on longmeadow.org. It is a legal requirement for anyone else to disclose if they are recording this meeting, and there's no one in attendance today. If we could rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no correspondence tonight. The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes for February 14th, 2017. Could somebody please make a motion to approve?
I can second, but I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Any comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those abstaining? Do we have any visitor comments? No. School committee announcements and recognitions. Anybody on the committee want to make any comments tonight? No. Next item is business with guests. We have Shelley Warren here to discuss the Drug-Free Community Support Program grant and the Close Community Coalition MOU.
Can I quick intro for you? So I was, one of the things, when I arrived in the district, I was pleased to hear that going back to last year, there was a drug prevention coalition that was taking a look at a federal drug-free communities grant. And so the coalition that exists in Long Meadow is called the Close Community Coalition. And we've talked a little bit about it here in the school committee. Stephanie is a representative, a sector representative on the coalition. And so the coalition has been engaged in some great work around building community capacity for prevention and intervention. And one of the things we'd like to talk to you tonight about is about our interest in applying for the Drug-Free Communities Grant. And so Shelley, with the coalition, has been working hard on that. There's two reasons we're here tonight. One is just to update you on the grant and what it might do for the entire community and for Long Meadow Public Schools. And the second is to hopefully help you understand and discuss the prospect of us, Long Meadow Public Schools, serving as the fiscal agent for the grant. And so maybe Shelley can start with an overview of the Close Coalition and the grant, and then we can move into the agreement between the coalition and the district.
Sure. So the coalition itself started last March on the heels of the symposium that was sponsored by the police and fire departments to address the opiate crisis in the area. They had seen an uptick in opiate-related incidents in town, and they did a great symposium which had a panel including people from a broad range of organizations and whatnot in the community. So on the heels of that, we kind of gathered people together who wanted to do more prevention around those issues, and that's where the coalition was born. So we've been around about a year. The goal is to have representatives from 12 sectors in the community, and we built our coalition off of the Drug-Free Community Support Program model, and that's the model that's funded by the federal grant process. So from the get-go, we had the grant process in sight when we built the coalition. So we have representatives from the business community, schools, the Board of Health, a youth serving organization. We have the JCC that just signed on to be a partner with us. We have the police department, Learn to Cope, which is a peer support organization for families struggling with addiction. We have all of, a youth serving organization, we have a volunteer organization, parent representative, a civic youth serving organization. There's 12 categories. I'm not sure if I've listed them all. Faith-based, we just got that. So we now have all 12 that are a part of the coalition. And the idea is that you get all the people in a room who kind of have different leverages within the community, see different parts of the problem and different resources that they can bring together to bear on solutions. And then you assess the needs of your community, which we did from March to I think June or July. We did a needs assessment, which we kind of added a final piece to the community survey in November. And we tried to determine what, where our priorities should be moving forward. We've conducted a couple of film screenings with discussions afterwards. We've sponsored a resource table at the library. We have donated resources already to the local library to update kind of their holdings pertaining to addiction and drugs and alcohol. A range of things. We've set up a social media platform, email address, a website, Facebook, etc., and tried to get ourselves organized as a coalition. We have bylaws, we have a board of directors, we have officers, and we were positioned to do our action planning, which we've done, and then to apply for the grant. Our intention originally was to have our own independent 501c3 status and apply as an independent coalition. We had a lawyer who was doing pro bono work for us, but when he found out the amount of the grant, that put us in a different category, and he couldn't do it for free anymore, and then the cost was prohibitive. So then we approached the school department. Marty was already serving as a sector rep for the coalition at that time, and asked about having an MOU, because that's another option for pursuing the grant, is to have an MOU between the coalition and another entity that already is approved to receive federal funding. So other coalitions that I know of in the area have partnerships like this with the school district. Hamden Wilbraham is one, and South Hadley is another, and I believe Northampton is a third. So it's a model that's out there for these coalitions. So it enables them to apply. And down the road, we may get our own 501c3. I don't know. If funded, we'll have the funds to pay the lawyer, to be able to do that. So that's kind of the history of how we got to where we are and why we were approaching the school district, for that partnership. There are a lot of things that the coalition can do if funded. It's $125,000 per year over a period of 5 years. And then you renew. You have the option to renew for years 6 through 10 for an additional $125,000 a year. So over a 10-year period, it's $1.25 million that comes into the community for prevention activities. Those activities can be, I don't want to say funneled, but they can be directed through the different sector partners and their efforts. So in our action plan, for example, we've written in funding for curriculum resources on social and emotional learning and wellness-based curriculums. We have written in speaker series that would be for both parents and students related to substance use prevention. We've also written in funds to help the police department provide more officer details during the high-risk times like home football games and grab party season. We've written in money for tobacco compliance checks, which the Board of Health would do, but those haven't happened for a long time because that funding has dried up. So we've been able to kind of build partnerships, in the community and kind of think what could we do overall to address the situation. So I don't know if that's a little bit of an overview.
Yeah, so that gives you a sense of some of the activities that would be associated with the grant. It's a significant grant, $125,000 a year for 5 years with an option to re-up after the 5-year period concludes. And so I think it would really build our capacity as a school district, and it would build the capacity of the wider community to engage in prevention and intervention work. So we're here tonight to kind of signal to you that we're interested in the grant, but most importantly for the business tonight is to have you review the memorandum of understanding between the coalition and the school district, again, with the district, Long Meadow Public Schools, serving as the legal applicant, the fiscal agent for the grant. So you'll see there are the MOU outlines the responsibilities of the coalition and the responsibilities of the district as the legal applicant. And so I guess we're here to present that to you, to answer questions, and have you consider signing off on that MOU.
Thank you.
No.
Could somebody make a motion, and then we can discuss and ask questions of Ms. Warren if we have any?
Is there a motion on the
Yes.
agenda? Okay. I move that the school committee approve the memorandum of understanding between the Close Community Coalition and the Long Meadow Public Schools as presented, and authorize the school committee chair to sign the MOU.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I'll just ask, what would this mean for us in the, financially? You know, are we putting up any money in the beginning to get this started, that we, prior to getting the grant?
It is it's an excellent question. It is a matching grant, but you can match the federal grant with in-kind existing staffing and resources and programming. And so Shelley has kind of done an inventory of the activities that are already underway in the community relating to prevention and intervention, and those are applied to the grant as part of the federal match. And Shelley can speak to it, more directly than I, but.
So we actually exceed the required match with what I've inventoried, and I haven't even included everything, to be honest. So we easily make the match without having to put out any other money up front. So.
Some of the things that would be in the match would be Shelley's salary as our substance abuse coordinator, some of the professional time that we dedicate to prevention and intervention, the commitment through our health program to prevention and intervention. So the budget is still taking shape, but Shelley hasn't seen a problem with achieving that federal match. So there's really no, I guess the short answer to your question is there's no upfront commitment or budgetary commitment that we would be making.
Okay. So, just to follow up on that, though, being the legal applicant or whatever, compiling financial reports, that sort of thing, are we taking on any extra?
Yeah, I think, so
labor slash-
Tom can speak to that. I mean, it is, obviously when you take on any federal grant, there's some accounting work involved, and if you want.
I think we'd be able to set up the grant so that we can isolate it and run the reports for the coalition as they need. It most certainly would be included within our larger reports that the committee gets as a grant that we receive, but we could run it specifically just on those grants. I mean, there'll be some additional reporting to the federal government and drawdown of funds, but I don't anticipate it'll be that cumbersome on time.
If I could speak to that a little bit too, the grant, they require that you hire a staff person with the grant money. And actually they have two positions that you have to create, but they can be fulfilled by the same person. But one of them is really like a grant administrator who does that work and is paid for by the grant. So, we've set it up so it's a .2 position as the administrative element of it, and then .8 as the project coordinator for the grant. So a lot of the reporting should be prepared by the person hired by the coalition.
I think it's a great idea. I certainly support it.
Any questions, Stephanie or John?
I'm all set.
I do have one question for you. So we filled out the survey that went out.
Yeah.
Based on the results of that survey, what would you be focusing on in particular? What did you find from the survey?
So the community part, the things that stuck out to me were 93% of the people who responded said that they saw issues in town related to substance use. That was very high. 25% were affected by a family member's substance use or were concerned about the use of a family member. 75% of those people were worried about a child or stepchild. And then we started to break it down by the age range there, and it seems like teenagers through young adulthood was a big target area. The federal part of the grant has to target youth prevention, so we can't target college and above with it, even though we see a need there. And other coalitions I know actually see a need there too. So that's come out of our discussions, is that that's an age group that's really at risk, and we've certainly seen some of the effects of that in our community. So that screamed out at me from the community response thing. And then we started to look at where, one set of questions asked where you would go for help, who you would, how you would know to access help, and we identified some gaps there that we, think we can try to fill in by providing resources, information more broadly in the community.
Okay, good. All those in favor?
I have to abstain.
All those abstaining? Well, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you. And I will just, not as part of the discussion, but I will say, I had to abstain because I'm part of it, but it is an amazingly well-run coalition. What Shelley has done on this and what she's done with the grant is it's amazing. And the people who have come out in the community and been part of the coalition, it's an amazing group of people, but it's just so well-run and so organized. I've been nothing but impressed, so I want to throw that out there.
Thank you.
I know you opened some eyes at the elementary school presentation, so.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was.
Oh, there was a lot of parents
That was not
there.
even related to
Yeah.
the grant.
Had
but-
no idea.
Well, it was interesting, if I can tell, you're talking about the 5th grade presentation or the parent one?
I think the one over at Blueberry.
Oh, I'm thinking of, I also went to 5th grade classes, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of,
Yeah.
and talked to 5th graders
I think it was a
about
PTO
what a
meeting.
drug is. But yes, we did PTO meetings too. I'm like, I don't want to scare you.
I think you did.
Yeah,
Which is probably a good thing.
Just
Beyond
it
the
is what
work
it is.
beyond the work that Shelley's done for the coalition that Stephanie described, yeah, I mean, Shelley's done a great job of reaching into the elementary schools to support some of the health instruction. So we appreciate her efforts to kind of work kind of globally K-12 for us. So it's been great. We're really excited about the grant. It's very competitive. There are a lot of communities that are interested in it, but I think we've got a good proposal, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yep. And they will rate you, even if you're not funded the first time around, they score you either way and give you feedback. So communities then can reapply, kind of sharpen and reapply if they don't get it. But so I know some communities who haven't gotten it, and some, on the first try, and others who have, and we'll just give it our best shot.
Sounds good.
When do they let you know?
I believe it's July.
Oh,
So, and the funds are allocated starting the end of September, and that's where the calendar year runs for the grant. So, but we'll find out in July.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
So tonight, we don't have any reports, is my understanding.
You know what, we should probably tell everybody that's
Oh.
listening about the middle school.
Good idea.
Do you want to do that?
Go ahead. You're the chair of the subcommittee.
Last night, the select board voted to submit the SOIs that we had presented to them. So Marty is probably getting the envelope ready and everything, and those will be sent off. Thank you very much to the select board and the community for your support on this. I think it's a very, very big win for the community. I think that, we'll be able to plan ahead if, even if we aren't accepted this year, just getting the ball rolling on that and having the application in will put us in a better spot.
Yes, I agree. I was very happy that the board voted in favor. And I think they made some valid points, too, and one of those points was to try and, this really should try to line up with 2023 when the debt drops because the elementary schools drop off. So I'm really in favor of that, too, and I said that to the Finance Committee, that I don't think there's a way for us to push it forward faster than that, but even if there was, it really makes sense to time it with that drop. Any other comments on that issue before we move on?
Yeah, I'd like to compliment both of you for the diligence you showed in following through on this. I sort of gave up on hoping that they were going to come around, but, well, whatever happened there, it worked. So, thank you.
I would say you were a large part of that, too. I mean, you're on the subcommittee with us, and you did a lot of work on middle schools, probably more than us over the years.
Thank you.
So the only other item we have is new business, which is tuition rate for preschool 2017-18. We probably should get information from you first, and then we can make a motion.
Yeah, so we normally would process the tuition approval through Finance Sub, but with vacation, we didn't get a chance to review this. And with the timeline that was set up for mailing for next year's registration, we felt we needed to get this authorized so that that can be communicated to parents as they register. So in your packet is some information in regards to some of the surrounding communities and what they charge and the program that they offer for a preschool program. We currently offer a program that runs 5 days a week. There are 2 sessions. There's an AM and a PM session. that run for 2.5 hours, and we currently charge $2,000. It is a peer model program, and so we currently have approximately 50 or so students, which about half of them are paying the tuition. That number does fluctuate every year. I did speak to our preschool coordinator today, and she did see that, there are challenges with other preschool programs in the area with families needing a full day for preschool students. So it can be tough to attract students to a half-day program. So that was her one concern about making sure that we can still attract peer models to the program. So she was a little concerned about any increase, what it might do to have individuals consider other options. So, and I'm not sure what else you would want for information. Like, we bring in about $50,000 a year, and we use that to offset some of the staffing that's associated to the program. Currently, we have 2 teachers, the part-time coordinator, and some support staff that go into to this preschool program to provide services.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Mazza?
I would agree with the teacher's assessment of where preschool is going, and having a daughter in preschool now and seeing it over the many years and the changes that have taken place, and in this one preschool seeing the changes that have taken place and the need and how they've switched to offer a full day. And so many of the students, I think it's more common for a student to go full day, maybe not every day, but to go a full day on the days they go. So it's transforming, and I think it is something that we need to keep an eye on in terms of what our preschool is offering, what the kids' needs are, and keeping that on our radar. I'd like to start that discussion sooner than later in assessing the preschool, the needs of the kids, and what we're offering. And if we are starting to lose those peer models because the day is so short, in terms of what kids are getting elsewhere, I think we need to keep that in view. But as far as raising it, I think you may very well run a risk of not getting enough students.
Anyone else? Do we have a wait list for the preschool program now?
I don't believe so. I think we're able to accommodate all of the students who have requested a slot. I mean, there's a lot of, there's some fluidness to it in terms of students becoming eligible at 2 years, 9 months, and then students moving in. So it might not necessarily have a slot immediately when they move in, but with kids moving around and that, we're usually able to accommodate. It might not be in the slot that they want, whether it be an AM or PM choice initially, but we try to accommodate as best we can.
So based on the information you provided, of the area schools you sent, we're the highest, but we're lower than, I know of 2 other in town that I've used with my daughter. They were both higher, and this one you provided is higher.
Yeah.
So we're kind of middle of the road. I've also noticed, at least with my daughter's peer group, that when they're 3, you go half day or you do 3 days a week. When they're 4, pretty much everybody wanted a full day program, which we don't have. So that's probably beyond the scope of this conversation, but probably need to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think in terms of what the program is that we offer, it's probably outside of the conversation for next year's program. But I think in terms of Stephanie's point, it's probably not something we're going to want to wait till next February to start talking about.
So do you have a recommendation as far as?
I would keep it the same. I would keep it at $2,000, even though we are a little higher. We do offer 5 days, whereas a lot of the surrounding communities do not.
Okay.
So my recommendation would be to keep it at $2,000. And I do want to add, it's not reflected in the motion that's on your agenda, but we do offer a discount of 10% for families with multiples. So the second, third, or fourth would be eligible for a 10% discount. And so I would ask if you would consider adding that to your motion to include that, that option.
Could I ask, is this open only to Long Meadow families? Like,
Yes.
Could other towns, I don't know.
Yeah,
why,
it's
but
only
could they if
Long
they
Meadow
wanted to?
residents.
Hmm?
It's only open to Long Meadow residents.
Okay.
I know of some schools that offer it to others because they're trying to draw kids in, but we have a wait list for school choice, so it wouldn't really make sense for us probably.
Okay.
So someone want to make a motion?
Also moved.
Second.
So the motion is $2,000 preschool rate, $50 discount to families who make the tuition payment in full by August 1st, 2017 for the 17-18 year. And there's also, what, a $50 discount?
10% discount
10% discount.
for families with multiples for the second, third, etc. student.
Were you the second, Michelle?
I was.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And that is all for tonight. So if somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
I think that's a new record.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.